thank you so much for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you. For anyone who hasn't heard of yourself and Tom, could you just tell us a little bit about you guys and your background?
Sure. Tom and I met a few years ago working on cruise ships. We're both performers. I'm a dancer, Tom's a singer. So we met rehearsing for a show to do on a cruise ship. And after a while, we fell in love and decided to get married. We kept doing ships for a few years. And then when COVID hit, the cruise industry shut down and we were kind of left with no place to live and work. And, you know, like our whole lives is centered around living on board the cruise ship. So Tom's actually from the UK. I'm from the United States. I'm from California. So it was this debate, like, do we go to the UK? Do we go to California? We decided to go to California because I could work. I could nanny and things like that. And Tom doesn't have a green card or anything like that. So he wasn't able to work in the States. So we thought that by getting the bus, we kind of killed two birds with one stone. He would have a project to work on, you know, and we would eventually have some place to live. Of course, we thought, you know, we'd be living in it for just a little bit of time. We didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. And it ended up really saving us because we, you know, what we thought was just going to be like a fun project and maybe we'd live in it for like a month or two. We ended up living in it over a year. So it really was the best thing that happened to us through COVID.
That's so good. I always hear that there's some lovely good situations that actually came out of that crazy time, which is so good. Yeah. I love that. Could you just describe to people the layout of your bus for me?
Sure. So we have a shuttle bus, you know, one that you might find. It's just a Ford shuttle bus that you might find like at an airport. Taking people to the rental car stations, that same sort of shuttle bus. So it's not too big. It's 25 feet long. When you walk in, you're immediately greeted by the kitchen. Nice. We used to have a couch that we used for storage that Tom hand built. But we decided it got a little too bulky. And after a few months, we changed that into just like a little seating area with a small table so that we could sit down and have meals together. On the right side, we have our shower and toilet. We have a cassette toilet. Most people use compost toilets, but a cassette toilet is one where you can remove it and then go dump it at a dump site. So it's easy for us. It worked for us and what we needed. And then on the left-hand side, completely opposite from that, is our closet. And then you have our bed, which also lifts up and is another place for storage. And then there's the handicap doors on the back, which used to be used for the accessibility with the lift. But now we call that our balcony, and we just open it up and lay on the bed and look at the views. We also have a roof deck, which Tom added last year. Which is my favorite part. Everybody loves the roof deck, right? Yes, definitely. The best thing ever.
Definitely. Oh, I love that. It's such a lovely layout. And yes, to the roof decks. I really wanted one on this fan, but this fan's fiberglass and the body just can't hold it. The only way I can do it is if I decide to add the structure and support it, which you could do, but I haven't got the funds for that yet. But I like your roof deck.
To be fair, that's what we kind of did. We built out the bus, you know, for what suited us at the time. And then as, you know, we saved more money or found the appropriate time, we added things here and there, you know. So it's always a growing project.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You don't have to do it all at that beginning stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. What adventures have you guys had so far in your bus?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What adventures have you guys had so far in your bus?
What
adventures have you guys had
adventures.
So far?
I'm so sorry, I can't make
that word.
So we, you know, originally thought it would be great for us to use the bus between contracts. We do about 6 months at sea. And then usually our vacations between can vary. So, depending on the length of our vacation, we might take it on longer trips or what have you. So when we first built it during COVID, we weren't working. I mean, I was nannying. So, I was having kind of bitty work here and there. And eventually when dance studios opened, I was able to teach at some dance studios. But we took some major trips around the West Coast. We, for New Year's Eve, it's one of our top favorite trips ever. We went to Sedona, Arizona, and we got up early and watched the sunrise over what the vortex is there, which is supposed to be very spiritual, and you should feel the earth's energy there. So it was such a really cool thing to do for New Year's Eve, instead of like, well, everybody loves a good party and stuff like that. It was sort of a different way to ring in the new year, which was great for us. And we went to the Grand Canyon on that trip, and we went to Arizona, and we went to Utah. We kind of went all around. That was our favorite trip for sure. But our plans next, hopefully between contracts, we rehearse in Miami normally. So our goal is to have enough time to be able to drive from California to Florida straight across and take the bus with us to rehearsals. And then that way, when we finish our contract, we get off in Florida, then maybe we can take it up the East Coast and kind of work our way all around that way.
I love that. Oh, it's so exciting having those future plans as well. And I'm guessing, does ship life, can it be quite hectic as well? So are there things that you do on ship that you guys do to wind down? And then do you find that the bus afterwards is a way for you to guys slow down as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because there's such similarities in the way that we live on board the ship and in the bus. Because, when we first built the bus, everybody said, how are you going to be able to live and share a space in that tiny space? And I said, well, you haven't seen my cabin on my cruise ship, because it is a small box. We normally have bunk beds, it's quite tight. So we're very used to living in small spaces, and that's not really a problem for us. We always say we live out of 2 suitcases. So downsizing wasn't an issue for us. But it is different in the way that, on board the ship, there's so many rules. You do sort of live, even though it's a cruise ship, you still live under the captain's rules, and, you have to have all these safety trainings and things like that. So, the stringency of the security and, certain procedures on board, it's so nice to be able to get back to the bus and, have our own freedom to go where we want, when we want, wake up when we want. We can share a bed, which is new most of the time. No bunk beds on the bus. Tom joked around with me when he built the bus that he was going to build us bunk beds, and I said, oh no, you're not. So it's such a great way for us, especially being at sea. You're really sort of stuck to what time you're in port, what time you leave port. You only have a certain amount of time where you are to get off and explore, which obviously I'm very grateful for. However, when we're in the bus, we really dictate how long we spend somewhere, where we go. We have the open road to us, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you find, so you guys are both creative, and I'm just thinking, if there's people out there who are really, really creative in that industry as well, how did you guys get into the cruise ship work?
Sure. I think it's different for both of us. However, when I was in college, I studied dance, and I assumed either I'd be like a concert dancer or a commercial dancer. I live near Los Angeles, so it's very popular for people to do like music videos and television and things like that. And I had a friend who had actually started doing cruise ships before she went to college. So she had done a year or two doing cruise ships, kind of as like a gap year situation, dancing on board cruise ships, because you don't have to have a degree to be a performer. However, it's always great to have extra education and like expand your artistry that way. But she kind of did the opposite. She was able to do a few contracts at sea and then go back to school and finish her degree. And she told me all about her life at sea, and as soon as I heard, I said I have to do that, because it's my two passions are performing and travel. And If I can do both of those things at once, then that's great for me. I did, however, do much more work before I started at sea. So I did, I was an NFL cheerleader. I danced in some music videos. I danced at Disneyland, performed at Disneyland, did a few things like that. Tom also did the same sort of thing. He did a few international tours in the UK of musicals, and eventually his agent came across, some ship auditions, and we make really good money at sea compared to, certain jobs on land. So it's very attractive in that way. So we both kind of came across that at different ways. We actually both started at different companies, and then we somehow met on a contract together, and that's where our life together sort of started at sea.
That's so cool.
And hopefully we've got a few more years of us left
definitely.
in us.
Definitely. And where is your bus when you guys are on your cruise ship?
The Queen Elizabeth, that's her name. She is currently in storage. We have like an RV storage place that we are able to keep at, and then that way we can pay the bill, online. And my parents don't live too far away from it, which is really nice. And just every once in a while I have my dad go check on her because I get really nervous leaving her out there all by herself.
I love that she's called the Queen.
Yes, Queen Elizabeth.
I love that.
Queen Elizabeth Rose. She has an extra name.
I love that.
Yeah, we gotta support the Brits.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. I love that. I've noticed that you guys have been you've been like doing reels and things like that with social media and Instagram. How are you using reels to promote your page? Is it something that you're doing just because you enjoy doing them, or are you doing them so that you can be able to get your content out there?
Sure. No, actually, I am a little intimidated by social media personally. I sort of feel like, I sort of have to G myself up to do things like that. But when I do them, it feels really great. I feel naturally creative, and I actually recently caught COVID on board, and so I was put into isolation for 2 weeks, and that really sort of gets you, moving creatively and trying to think outside the box. And that's when I started getting into reels, because honestly I had nothing else to do. And I have really enjoyed it. It's kind of brought out a silly side in me. Even my aunt, comments on them and is like, I didn't know you were so funny. Like, you've known me my whole life. But I'm trying to keep them up now, but with the ship Wi-Fi, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get them up there. So I do what I can.
Oh, that's so cool. And have you found that people have started interacting more since you've been putting
absolutely. I've been so amazed by like the followers that I've gotten new followers from them, even just little silly videos that I thought, oh, this is something that makes me laugh. I've gotten a lot more interactions on, and people really respond, and I'm kind of surprised. I don't know. I knew that reels were a good tool, but I didn't know that I could use them so easily and make so much out of it.
I think you've got the key as well, where you're being yourself, and that's what people want to see.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. And are you feeling okay now that you've had your COVID?
I'm good. And I, like, everybody's required to be vaccinated on board the ship, which is a good thing in my book. And so I had very minor symptoms. It was very small, but during the Christmas and New Year season, we had a lot more guests, and it was a little bit hectic. So, we had a little spike, but it seems to be calmed down now.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. I always like to ask the Instagram community and invite them to ask yourself a question. And the question that they wanted to ask you guys is, how did you guys meet? Which is what you had told us. But did you have the bus idea as a shared idea? And how did you choose a bus versus other spaces?
Sure. It's really interesting, actually. I think we both we both really enjoy DIY. We both really enjoy, like both of us on Instagram, or I'm a big Pinterest junkie, would be
Yeah.
on there and show each other all the time while we're away. Oh my gosh, look at this bus. Isn't this really cool? Or look at this tiny home. And Tom's always had a dream of building a container home eventually one day. And his dad works in construction and is a building
Amazing.
estimator. So he is super handy. I didn't even know how handy he was until we actually started the bus project.
Oh,
I mean, he can do
wow.
everything. It's amazing. But we actually, before we got off of our contract, we finished a contract in March of 2020.
Yeah.
And before we got off, we said, wouldn't this be something so cool for us to do someday? We were talking about it. And at that point, I think we had 6 weeks vacation planned.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, maybe we could get this done. Maybe we could sort something out. And we kind of just put it on the back burner and we're like, not really. And then COVID hit and
Yeah.
we were like, wow, actually we are presented with this
The time.
opportunity right now to do it. And we thought, maybe a school bus or whatever. And it kind of just turned into something where we were scanning through Facebook Marketplace, and the first bus that popped up, we were like, wow, let's go look at this bus. And we kind of just did it for fun. And we came home, and later that day we were like, no, let's do this. Let's buy this bus. And it kind of just fell into place. My dad was furious. The bus pulled up in front of the house and he was like, what is this on my lawn? Why do I have to look at this hunk of junk? We tore out all the seats and he was so furious. But obviously once we got into the process, he got really into it and was showing us how to use all the tools. And yeah.
That's lovely. That's so nice that both of the dads got involved as well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, I love that. I can picture this bus rocking up and him being like, what?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
You did not consult me on this bus being parked in front of my house.
I have when I'm back, I have mine on my parents' drive at the moment whilst we're renovating and everything, and they've been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Good.
But me and my dad did the project together when it was lockdown and stuff, but yeah, no, it is helpful
cool.
having parents who understand.
Yes, supportive.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I always like to ask a question at the end of each episode, which is a sustainable question, and it's, what do you wish that you or we had more of sustainability wise?
That's a good question. I'm proud to say that I work for a particular cruise ship company that is really big on sustainability.
Amazing.
You don't really get that much in the cruise ship industry.
No.
The cruise ship industry has had a lot of bad press around, environmentalism and things like that. And our company was the first to get rid of plastic water bottles, and their aim is to be zero net emissions. And it's really great to work for a company that puts that forward. And we honestly try and do that as much as we can on land. It breaks our heart to drive a diesel bus.
Yeah.
So, we always say how amazing would it be if we could have an electric bus, or, something, I think it's obviously difficult with such big rigs. You have people towing big trailers and building buses and all these things like that. How cool would it be if we could make that living style to be more, eco-friendly?
Yeah.
And we try and do our part in the way, of reducing plastic and reducing waste and things like that. We do vegan Fridays. My husband is a big gym junkie, so he loves his protein and things like that. But we try and do some vegan meals here and there when we can. So
no, it's great. Yeah. It's such a good answer, and I think it's so important. It's about just doing your bits, your vegan Friday. I think people feel a bit pressure to do everything, and it's
everything
one of those things that if everyone just does each bit, it does all help in a really
it makes
way.
A difference.
Definitely. For anyone who would like to see more of yourself and you guys and your bus and your reels, what is your Instagram handle for people to follow you?
My Instagram handle is at Tom TOM and Hailey
Perfect.
Tom and Hailey.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Hailey, for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was so lovely. It felt like a whirlwind. I wanted to chat for ages, but I knew that we could get it in a lovely nutshell.
Oh my gosh, you really whipped through that. I'm so amazed.
You're so
That's what comes with preparation.
I know. Oh no, it's so lovely, and it's really cool. Like, you guys are from, like, was it California or LA that you guys were based? Did you say?
Yeah, I'm from Long Beach, which is like a suburb of Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, southern Los Angeles. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool, because I'm looking at going out there for 3 months, around the end of May, till like the end of August.
Oh, really?
I'm just gonna book my flights, because I'm going out there to network for my acting side of my life.
Oh,
so
amazing!
I'm gonna do that.
Love
And
it.
I've got a friend who's in Hollywood in LA. She's an actress out there, but I want to try and stay like Santa Clarita way, so like more like on the ranches and stuff like that. So yeah. So I'm gonna do that as
Very
well.
cool.
So
Well, you'll have to let us know. And,
I will do.
maybe if we're not at sea, then we'll definitely have to show you around, meet up with you.
I would love that. I'd absolutely love that. That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
And you're
so
from
much.
Cornwall, or are you currently living in Cornwall right now?
So I live in Cornwall. So my parents moved here, but I was brought up in Surrey, so like outside of London.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like in a lovely little village. You know, do you know the film The Holiday?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically that was 15 minutes away where I was born.
Oh my God,
That's the best way to describe where I was born. And now I live by the sea, which is also lovely and beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. My husband says nothing but amazing things about Cornwall. We definitely will have to go on our next trip to the UK. His parents live like near Portsmouth, but Tom has lived in London for like years now, obviously doing musical theater and stuff.
Oh, nice. So where I lived was between London and Portsmouth.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What were you going to say? Sorry, you have.
I don't know what I was going to say.
It's so cool. Oh yeah, honestly, if you guys end up coming over to UK, please do let me know as well.
I will. Where one day we would like to maybe build out a van, you know, at his parents, and then be able to drive to Europe and things like that. So.
Definitely. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Oh, it's so cool. Well, I've noticed that it's getting near 30:30, so I will let you go and do your training. I better go. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.